Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production. Dark Shadows, number 17, VTR date 7/5/66, air 7/19/66. Take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. There is no sound in Collinwood. There's only the strangeness of the people around me. The strangeness of the woman who has brought me here. A woman who has not left her house in 18 years. The strangeness of a small boy and the merciless devils that torment him.
No. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. No. No. No.
David! David, for the love of God! David! David, wake up! David, wake up! Wake up, David!
I have to get away. I have to
David,
get
listen,
away.
it's Aunt Elizabeth. Wake up!
I did it. I did it.
David, you're dreaming.
Help me. Help me.
You're dreaming, David. It's
Help
only
me.
a dream.
Help me. I didn't kill him. I didn't kill him. I didn't mean to kill him.
Dressing.
How is he, Doc?
Lucky. You can take him home?
Plan to. How much longer you think before he's ready to leave?
Oh, 15 minutes, maybe. I've got a few things to clear up with him. Insurance forms, all that nonsense.
Think you can stretch it to a half hour? I want to run back and take another look at that wreck.
Oh, you go ahead. I'm not going anywhere. Unless Lucy Cameron decides to have a baby ahead of time.
Well, I'll be back in a half hour.
What do you expect to see? A wreck is a wreck.
Not this one, Doc.
You're going to need some help with that, Mr. Collins.
Yes, I'm afraid so.
As a matter of fact, you're going to have to ask your sister or somebody up at the house to give you a hand getting dressed for a while.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's being treated like an invalid.
Invalid? Maybe you don't realize just how lucky you are. A few stitches in your forehead, just a few contusions, and one arm bruised and sprained. By all the rules, I should have been signing a death certificate instead of helping you into a jacket.
Well, I'm sorry to be breaking the rules, Doctor.
Well, that's all right. I get a bigger fee this way. Now hold your arm up. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
You know, come to think of it, when those brakes went, I thought sure I'd end up on a slab.
How's that feel?
Oh, it's all right.
Uh-huh.
How long do I have to wear this thing?
Oh, a day or two. Just want to ease up any sprain. You'll know when to take it off. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of pills to take before you go to bed tonight. Ease up on the pain And then I want you to get right home and get into bed as soon as Bill Malloy gets back here.
Oh, isn't he waiting outside?
He'll be back in a while. Said he wanted to get another look at the wreck.
Oh.
Anything special about this one?
What do you mean?
Well, Malloy seemed to intimate.
Intimate what?
Well, the fact is, Mr. Collins, I'd think that all you people living up in the big house having to go up and down that hill would be pretty darn sure your brakes were in good working order.
They were.
Yeah. I'll give you a couple of extra in case you need some tomorrow night.
Oh, thanks.
Then how come you went over the edge?
Well, I told you. When I pulled out of the garage, the brakes were acting fine. And they continued to work all right until I got about halfway down the hill. Then all of a sudden, that pedal went right to the floorboard. I tried to keep it on the road, but I couldn't make it when I got to that big curve about 100 miles from the... 100 miles. It seemed like 100 miles. 100 feet from the bottom of the hill. And then I went right over the edge. And then Malloy came along.
Oh, yes, he told me. He was on his way up to the house. Yeah. Well, we might as well get on with these forms. It's a lucky thing Malloy wasn't walking up that hill. We might have had another death.
What do you mean, another death?
Yeah, I was thinking of that fellow I treated 10 years ago when you and Burke Devlin...
I had nothing to do with that.
You never said you did.
Doctor, Burke Devlin was sent to prison for killing that man. It had nothing to do with me.
I know. I was at the trial. Well, shall we get on with it?
Aunt Elizabeth! Aunt Elizabeth! Something blew the window open.
That something was the wind, plus the fact that I didn't close it tightly enough. Now, you're not afraid of a little wind, are you?
Stay in here with me, please.
You couldn't get me out of here if you tried to. Now see if you can go back to sleep.
Don't turn the light out.
There's nothing to be afraid of, David. I'm here.
I want the light on.
All right. Now try to sleep.
When will my father be back?
Soon. He's gone to the doctor's.
You won't tell him about my nightmare, will you?
Not if you don't want me to. But there's nothing to be ashamed of, David. Even grown-ups have nightmares sometimes. Now close your eyes and see if you can go to sleep.
Aunt Elizabeth, what did I say?
Hmm?
When I was dreaming, I said something, didn't I?
Oh, it was just a lot of nonsense.
What was it? I want to know.
Well, then will you go back to sleep?
I'll try.
Well, it seems you were dreaming about having a fight with someone and they were hurt.
Who?
Oh, David, it doesn't matter. The important thing is for you to forget about it and go back to sleep.
Did I say who was hurt?
No, you just kept saying, I didn't mean to kill him. You said it over and over again. Now, come on. It was just a bad dream. Try to sleep.
Aunt Elizabeth,
What is it, darling?
you won't let anyone hurt me, will you?
But of course not.
Do you promise?
Well, of course I do, David. It was only a dream. Believe me, only a dream.
I don't think I can sleep.
No, I suppose not. Well, why don't you put on your robe and we'll go downstairs and wait for your father and Mr. Malloy.
Come in. It certainly was a fast half hour. I barely got this stuff finished.
I saw what I wanted to see.
Hanky-panky?
Didn't say that, Doc. Just said I saw what I wanted to see.
Someday I'm going to write a book about Down-Easterners, myself included. I'm going to write about all those words that never get said.
I don't know what you're talking about, Doc.
I'm a freak around here. That's what I'm talking about. I open up. I tell people what I'm thinking. For instance, Mr. Collins and I were just having a little chat about his old friend, Burke Devlin.
But what about him?
Am I through, Doctor?
Yeah, you see what I mean? As soon as the conversation gets on to important things, we hold up a sign, no trespassing.
Some things are nobody else's affair.
Ah, that's all an illusion. In this case, anyway. There was a public trial 10 years ago, wasn't there? And now Burke Devlin's back. Do you honestly believe there's one person in this town doesn't think he knows why?
I can't worry about what people think, Doctor.
No, I know you can't do that. All you can do is roll down the hill in a car and get yourself nearly killed. Well, all right, you're well enough to go home, but be sure you go right to bed. Dr. Reeves. Oh, yes, Mr. Cameron. How's your wife?
Well?
I went to the car.
Yes, I know that. Did you find out what caused the accident?
Yeah. But it wasn't an accident, Roger.
Are you sure?
Positive. Absolutely no question about it. Well, that's about what it looks like.
What's it called?
Bleeder valve. You know much about cars?
You put the key in the ignition and the car starts. You turn it off and it stops. That's about it.
Well, the brakes run on hydraulic fluid, and there's a master cylinder under the hood. The fluid's in there. When you step in the brake pedal, what you're doing is forcing the fluid from the master cylinder to the separate cylinders on each brake, and that's what stops the car, understand?
Well, where does this thing come in?
This bleeder valve was missing and left a little hole where it should have been. And every time you step on the brake pedal, you force the stream of hydraulic fluid out of that hole. Do that a dozen times, there's no fluid left at all. And no brakes.
Well, that's exactly what happened. The brakes were working fine until I got about halfway down the hill.
That's the way it must have been planned.
Now, Bill, I've got to be sure about this. Could this piece have come off by itself?
I never heard of it happening.
Is it hard to remove?
All it takes is a couple of twists of a wrench or a pair of pliers.
Then that's it.
What?
Devlin came to the house this afternoon and made arrangements for me to meet him in town tonight. What was to prevent him from going to the garage and tampering with my car to make sure I wouldn't make it down that hill?
Well, it's possible, but you can't prove it, neither can I.
Not yet.
Now, slow down.
Oh, wait, do you think I'm going to leave it go with that? I was almost killed. I don't give a damn about proof. I'm going to go to Burke and make him admit it himself.
Well, what are you going to do, beat it out of him with one arm?
You two still here? I would have told you to go home and get some rest.
Well, I'm taking him home right now.
Now, look, Bill.
Look, there's nothing that can't wait until tomorrow.
Except babies. I got one right now. Just can't wait to get into this world. You think it's worth it?
I'll tell you tomorrow. Thanks for everything, Doctor.
Yeah.
Isaac was a brave man, David, crossing the ocean in a small sailing ship. Do you know when that was?
My father tells me 1690.
That's right. He landed right near here in Frenchman's Bay. And then he came to Collinsport, and he liked it, and he decided to stay. Only it wasn't called Collinsport then, because there was nothing here. Just a harbor and trees and lots of fish. Isaac Collins. Imagine having a town named after you.
Did you hear a car?
I don't think you've been listening to one word I said.
I'm sure I heard something.
You see? There's nobody out there.
Are you sure my father wasn't badly hurt?
That's what I was told. Now, I want you to stop worrying about it, David.
Aunt Elizabeth, did you hate your father?
Of course not. I loved him very, very much.
How did you feel when he died?
Such a strange question. I told you he wasn't badly hurt.
Did you cry?
Yes, for days.
Did you have nightmares?
I don't remember. It was over 20 years ago.
I'll bet you didn't. I'll bet if you love your father, you never have nightmares.
David, everything's going to work out for you. I know it will if you'll just be patient. Is that your father?
Yes. I don't want to see him.
I told you he wasn't badly hurt.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to see him.
Now remember, don't say anything to my sister about that valve.
You can't keep it a secret forever.
Well, just tonight, I want to do this my own way. I have to... Hi, Liz. Well, the soldiers home from the wars.
Roger, are you really all right?
Nothing that a stiff drink won't cure. How about you, Bill?
Wouldn't mind a short one.
But your arm. You didn't tell me about his arm.
Didn't start to act up until we were on the way to the doctor.
No, it's just a sprain, Liz. It's kind of heroic, don't you think? Come on, let's see about that drink. Pretty good driver, Liz, but I couldn't make that last curve, not without brakes, so over I went.
What did the doctor say?
Oh, he said I'd live, and that's the whole sad story.
No, not quite, Roger. Do you think Burke Devlin had anything to do with this?
What makes you ask that?
Well, Miss Winters told me she saw Burke in the garage looking at your car earlier this evening.
What did I tell you?
You can't prove he tampered with it.
Do you think I'm going to let it go at that? I was about ready to charge up to Burke and accuse him himself, but he talked me out of it.
We have a constable in town to handle things like that.
Don't you think you ought to call him?
I will. Is Miss Winters here upstairs in her room?
Roger, you're not going to do anything foolish, are
No,
you?
I'm through being foolish, Liz. I'm going to be very sensible. And why don't you do the same? Why don't you go upstairs and try to get some sleep? We've all had a rough night.
What will you do?
Oh, I might have another drink, commune with my ancestors, meditate over my past mistakes, and try to think of a way to correct them.
Correcting mistakes doesn't mean making others, Roger. You were almost killed tonight. Don't forget that.
I have no intention of forgetting it. Not ever. Good night, dear sister. Pleasant dreams.
Guess I'll run along myself.
You sure you'll be all right?
Perfectly sure.
All right, then. Bill, may I talk to you for a few minutes before you leave?
Sure.
Well, Isaac, what would you do if somebody had tried to kill you?
Well, I'm leaving, Roger. Just wanted to say good night.
What did Liz want?
Well, she asked me to check in town, see if I could find Carol.
Did she ask anything about me?
Well, she's a little afraid you might try something. But I told her not to worry, that you were just going to have a drink and go to bed.
Not true.
Now, Roger,
Bill,
there's
there's
no
a
point.
girl upstairs who saw Burke Devlin standing by my car. Don't you think I should at least go out and talk to her about it?
Sure, talk to her, but wait until morning.
Good night, Bill. Thanks for everything.
Good night.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing Where the Fun Is.